Hey, welcome to the Corey Maselli Show. This is Corey Maselli with the Sexy Viking, the Sexy Hungry Viking, Matthias Bedingstrom Anderson. Today we've got an absolute badass guest. To me, like an absolute icon in the strength sports world, the bench monster, Ryan Kennely. We're going to get right into it, and I'm going to just turn the mic over to you, Ryan, because being the storyteller you are and having a pretty kick-ass story of how you got to the point you're at, I'm just going to turn the mic over to you, and you get started as early in the process as you'd like, and we'll listen and perhaps ask a couple questions.
Okay, so just let me know what you want me to start with, and I will start. Just give me a question, and I'll just roll with it. So,
okay. Just actually, listeners that are not familiar with the whole powerlifting world, go Google Ryan Kennely, Kennely, if I think I'm spelling it right.
Kennelly, and my nickname is the BenchMonsta. Bench as in bench press, monster as in monster.
And you'll see why if you Google it. For those of you that do know Ryan Kennely, he really does not need an introduction. But I'm gonna the theme of this show, Ryan, is overcoming everything. Yeah. And I noticed a common theme in any high intensity sports, be it powerlifting, strongman, football, wrestling, boxing, etc. There's usually a background story that's pretty interesting. So talk to me.
Yeah. Well, growing up, I my parents got me into the sport of soccer at in kindergarten, first grade, and I played that all the way up until fifth grade. When I went to middle school, I definitely wanted to play football. And of course, I tried out in the seventh grade and didn't fare too well. Kind of tried out one time. And I'm going to be honest with you, I got tackled and, and I was kind of a wuss and I didn't like it. I didn't, pain wasn't a friend of mine. So when I got booted to the ground a couple times, I kind of walked off and, tucked my tail between my legs and, this isn't for me. So, and I was not a big kid in high school or middle school, 5'4", 125, just a scrawny kid. And going into high school, I had the dreams of, impressing my father, who was a football player. And my father was 5'10", 260, big forearms, power lifter. And so I thought, I'll try out for football and, same thing, I just didn't have the athletic ability. I was a soccer player and great at track, but that's not a manly sport to come home and say, hey, I play track or I play soccer. So I had wanted to play baseball, I wanted to play basketball, and just it didn't work, and I didn't have the ability to do that. So in weight training and PE, my sophomore year, we went in and, you bench press, you squat and all this. And I remember when I did bench press, I did 135 for one rep my sophomore year. And I've told this story 100 times, but the next kid that got up there, it was in my class, he did 135 for 10 reps. And it really left a scar. And I was like, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to be big. And so on and so forth. So after high school, I went to the gym. I joined an athletic club and started putting in the work there. And over the course of the next 3 years, people that ran into me said, hey, Ryan, you're getting big. Hey, can you hold on 1 second? I got to get a cat out of this room real quick. I got an animal den. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on.
Animal emergency.
Just a little fact for the listeners while we are waiting. I remember watching something about Ryan Kennely when he was lifting his heaviest weights, that he would feel like his forearms were bending a little bit on the way down.
Sorry about that. Got a couple animals, and I'm a stay-at-home father, so I got to take care of them. So, so he went to the gym, started working out, and I bench pressed every day because I wanted a bigger bench press. Didn't know any better. Didn't have anybody training me, coaching me, and I didn't know what I was doing, but it was working because my bench press went up and I started to get kind of big. I trained like a bodybuilder and mostly did just upper body, but I had a buddy who worked at GNC at the time, and I would he wasn't the straightest shooter, but he said swing by the mall where GNC was, at 6 o'clock, and he'd load up my car with whatever I wanted. And I shit you not, I had a dresser table 3 feet wide, 6 feet long, and it was covered with everything from GNC, from Cybergenics to Hot Stuff to Yohimbe to Ultimate Orange to Mega Mass 4000 to, so that we would come home. I was working working at a restaurant at the time, so I had access to food. I'd come home and we'd take all these amino acid pills and mix up the Mega Mass 4000, go to the gym and train. And I went from like 170 when I graduated high school at 5'11", and I got up to 198. So I put on a little bit of weight and size, but we're 3 years into the gym now. And I'm kind of like, I gotta have something that's going to keep me in here, some type of focus. And there was a record board on the wall and squat, bench, and deadlift. They had in-house contests there. And I said, well, I want to beat this guy on number one spot. And he was benched to 395 at 198. So I wanted to beat that. And over the course of a couple more years, I beat that. I did my first WABDL contest, Powerlifting Federation, March 17th, 1997. And I bench pressed a 457 weighing 220. And that was a state record at the time. And I was kind of hooked because I had a state record. But looking through the record book that the promoter had at the time, I saw the all-time greatest bench pressers in the open class, and I saw names like Ken Lane, Anthony Clark, and and I was like, wow, these guys bench 700 pounds. I mean, it's humanly possible. It can be done. And I set my sights out on becoming, trying to up that bench press, and I was hell-bent on it. And at the time, I remember I was taking a full load at the community college, working full-time, and then trying to fit the gym in. And it wasn't working because I was going to school and then speeding over to the gym, at 9 o'clock and getting a 30-minute workout in before the gym closed. So I kind of dropped out of college at the time because I wanted to excel at this, and I wanted to be the best in the world. And I didn't know what it would entail. I didn't know how long it would take, but I knew, I kind of knew that I could do it. I don't know what, and that's a weird thing to say, but I was like, okay, I know I got to gain weight. I know I gotta learn this. I got to read every bodybuilding magazine at the store, because there was no internet to get help from. There was nobody helping anybody. There was no guys like myself who have 30 years experience now. And I pass that experience down to other lifters that are up and coming. And that's kind of the fun part of my life at this point. So the story goes on and on. Long story short, I tried every supplement you could find in a magazine. And I remember about 1998, I had a bodybuilder friend who had a pro card, and he offered me some performance enhancing products. And he had a handful of Dianabol pills. And he handed them to me, and he said, I go, well, what do I do with these? Because I didn't know what to do. And he said, well, take one in the morning, one at night. Okay, well, I did that. And I got a taste of what that did for me. And with having a foundation of 6 years of natural training, and I had a great foundation. I had a 457 pound bench at the time. So taking those things kind of showed me what they could do and what they can do when you're off of them. So I got a quick taste of that, and I was like, okay, I wanted to study up on it. I think I bought the Steroid Bible at the time, and this wasn't going to be the ace in the hole. I'm going to take these, and this is going to be the answer. I knew I had to eat right, train right, sleep right, and stay away from people that were out drinking and doing those things. I had to put 110% into this. This is going to be a lifestyle choice here. And I continued on and on and on. And long story short, I did a lot of research. Internet became available 99, and I started searching Google and yahoo.com, and I did a lot of research. Like, if I'm gonna, these supplements, I know, Lyle Alzado, you always hear Lyle Alzado, diet of steroids, and I was like, okay, I mean, I know these are dangerous. I know they have to be respected and they have to be taken correctly, but how do you take them? Once again, no one helping, no one. So I had to do a lot of research, and I'm talking day and night. Like, if I'm going to put this stuff in my body, I need to know how to do it properly. And more is not better, and yada, yada, yada. But so I opted to supplement at times, that not all the time. I mean, I wasn't the type of person, and believe me, the performance enhancing medicines, they're psychologically addictive. I mean, everybody can probably relate with this. If you take them, I call it Clark Kent and Superman. You walk around all natural, you're Clark Kent. When you take the stuff, you put on your cape and you can do great things. But without them, you revert back to Superman, and you have to have that responsibility and that willpower to do those things, to understand that you can't live on these things, because they do cause, raise your bad cholesterol, kidney and liver damage, hard on the heart, so on and so forth. So they have to be used in moderation. And I realized that. And at the time, there was no internet. There was nobody standing on street corners selling testosterone. So getting them was very hard. And I think that was a blessing, because you look at where we're at now in life. I mean, you can go to any gym in town and somebody knows a way to get on the internet and get a bottle of testosterone. It's so readily available. It's kind of a bad thing, because we're seeing a lot of younger guys starting off, not building a natural foundation. They're hopping right into the supplementation and abusing it. And I see it every day. I hear it every day. And you can only, I mean, it's I can preach to people like that. It goes one ear out the other. They're going to do what they want to do. But at the time, I decided that I was going to not compete in a drug-free organization. Obviously, I had to find something like the APF or the WPO or federations like that where drug testing isn't. And but then again, I wanted to compete where you were drug tested also. I kind of wanted to do both. Like I can take supplementation and compete, or I can not do it and go compete. And I've done both. So I put a lot of work in, and then I learned how to eat properly, and I learned how to go take my body weight from 242 to 268 in a month. And by doing so, I was eating a lot of raw eggs. Raw egg shakes is what I called them. I was doing 6 raw eggs, a quarter cup of whole milk, or quarter cup of dry milk, whole milk, and chocolate syrup. And I was doing 4 of those a day and 4 meals a day. And I was gaining weight, because I didn't realize this at the time, but genetics play an important factor of what we're going to be when we excel and propel our bodies to what we want to do. And thank God my parents were both big bone, big people. Both my parents were over 200 pounds. So I had the ability to put on weight, which was cool. So I was able to get my eating under control. And lo and behold, I got up to 300 pounds. Bench press equipment was evolving and getting better. Inzer Advanced Designs was making the best powerlifting bench shirts that were on the market at the time. So I was starting with the denim bench shirt, and then of course I worked into the Rage X bench shirt, and then we all saw the Phenom and Gene Richlack and what he did. He became the first man to do 900 and 1,000, and he was wearing the Phenom shirt. So I had to get the right shirt and learn how to use that properly. So we had all these things going on, but moral of the story is, to get to where I was in life and to that point of being a world champion and bench pressing 1,075, it's a lifetime commitment, and you got to put everything aside. Girlfriends if people don't share the same passion as you, then basically I have nothing to do with them. And I didn't have very many friends that wanted to commit themselves to a second job. Basically, you go work your normal job, then you go to the gym. You're in the gym 6 days a week, sometimes upwards to 2 hours. So this is a commitment thing. Oh, this isn't we do it in the spring and we take summer off bullshit. I do it year round, winter, spring, summer, fall. And there's been pitfalls. There's been ups and downs. I had a girlfriend that I was dating who got into methamphetamines. And I was basically, I looked at it. We were living together, but my passion was work and go train and eat. And had a bad experience with that, because I came home one day from work and I caught her in bed with another man. So I had to throw him out the window, basically. And I realized, and it's little things like that in life that can really derail, the passion that I was shooting for. So I had bumps in the road, in my life, and I just rebounded and got back and maintained focus on what I wanted to do. And if you're looking at bench press records, I did a 457 and 97. And I remember 98, I was upwards to doing 655, 700. I became the first man to do 800 in August of 2002. That's kind of a something I'm very proud of. We saw Ted Arcidi do 705 and 85, and Anthony Clark, rest in peace. I thought he was credited with an 800, and in reality, in the record books, he was only credited with 784. So I broke his record in May of 2002, doing 785, and then I, of course, did the 800 in August. But once I did that, I realized I'm the best in the world. My goal came true. I didn't know how long I would be there, but I worked my ass off, and it was so crazy. Straight tunnel vision, man. I mean, nothing else existed around me. I didn't go out with, I didn't have what you call normal friends. All my friends either lifted or they didn't. So if you lifted and you shared the same passion of wanting to set records and show up at the gym 6 days a week, you were my friend. So I had very few friends, and I was a boring person. But that's kind of what you got to do, 110% into that to be number one, no matter whatever it is you do. That's how you got to, if you want that goal, that's what you got to put it. You can't half-ass anything. I preach this to people all the time. It's easy to say, hard to do. So you got to find the right people right. that are gonna want to do this. So I searched out and created a Kennely power team in 2002. And I had a good run and a great crew from 2002 to about 2010. And then, of course, people get old, people branch off, and, and they'll come and go. I mean, people will, but I maintained that and stayed there and did the best I could. I remember Schwarzenegger told me at the Arnold Classic my first year, before he was governor, he was very easy to get close to at that time. He was backstage, and I remember he made a comment to me that, as I said something, I don't know what I mumbled to him, but he made a comment about, we only, as men, we have a window of greatness, and you can't do it forever, is kind of what he was telling me. And I knew, being 27, 28 years old, I thought powerlifting prime was like 35 to 38, somewhere in there. And then, of course, we're seeing now, like Bill Gillespie recently at 62 years young, bench pressed 1129 a few weeks ago. So
absolute madness.
Yeah. Wow. So if we can do things beyond our years, and that's kind of great to see. Except for some people like myself, now I have a C4, a C5, and C6 stenosis of the disc, and I'm losing my disc. And what's happening? It's pinching on a nerve on the C7, which has kind of made my right arm about 20%. So I really am sidelined at the moment. And I need to have a cortisone shot, and they probably eventually are going to cut my neck open and replace some discs or something. So at my age of 47 right now, I'm on the sidelines, but I don't mind that. It is a hard pill to swallow, but I am human, and injuries and little things like this, they show their ugly face at times in life. And but I have downtime right now, which allows me to coach, and I got a great team of people that are passionate and share the same goal. And I got 30 years of experience of doing this, and I do online training. I have a podcast, or not a podcast, a YouTube channel, which we do a live stream every Thursday night at 7 p.m. where I share my information. We have special guests on, so I like to give back. And that's kind of the great thing about it, because looking back, if I could have had the knowledge that I have now, I would have been a world champion in 7 years instead of 14 years. So the way I look at it is people that are up and coming and wanting to pursue setting a world record, with my information and my intelligence, if I can pass that on to somebody and they can become a champion in a shorter amount of time, then that's kind of like a branch off my tree thing, and it's something I'm very proud of. And I just enjoy giving back at this point. So, but the road was bumpy coming up, and it wasn't a golden brick road to 1,075. There was twists and turns. There was forks in the road in life. One of the cool stories that I have is 2000, my whole team basically flaked off in the summertime, and I had one person, which is my handoff guy. And of course, when you're trying to do 900 and 1,000, you need 3 people to hand off to you. Right. And I kind of got fed up. I looked around, and I was just like, I'm one of those people. I'm here one day, I'm gone the next. And I woke up, and I had this girlfriend at the time who moved to Florida, and I was just looking around like fuck it, I'm gonna take off and get as far away from the state and go do something else in life. I told myself in my mind that I was going to like quit powerlifting. I kind of like was really fed up, moved to Florida, started drinking again, being my old self, you know, throwing people through on pool tables and doing the crazy things that I do when I don't have a goal in life. So but I stumbled into a Gold's Gym in Fort Myers, Florida. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna start working out again. Not gonna compete. I'm just gonna get big and, you know, be the cock of the walk. And I wasn't in there 2 days, and a guy came up to me with a Powerlifting USA magazine and held it up and goes, "Are you Ryan Kennelly?" And I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, that's me." And he goes, "Oh, dude, we gotta train. I'm gonna do a contest. You need to do a contest." And I'm like, and he mentioned to me he had the bands, and I was like, "You got bands?" I mean, I've heard of the bands, you know, utilizing them in training. And he's like, "Yeah, and I can get some chains and blah blah blah." And I'm like, whatever. So him and I hooked up, and he's passed away. His name was Mike Whitmer. And so him and I started training, and this was a fork in the life that if I wouldn't have took this fork and moved to Florida, I don't know who I'd be right now, and I guarantee I wouldn't be the bench monster. But this changed my life forever. And sometimes you got to take these risks to see these rewards. So he and I trained together for a short amount of time, and there was a contest called the Bench Bash for Cash in Daytona, Florida, WPO. Kieran Kidder put the meat on. So I took everything that I knew, and I had a 733 bench with my supplementation, my eating, my training, my sleeping. So I knew I could get my bench up to around 733. So I took my best stuff, went to this meet, and actually bombed. I opened it with 705. I double dipped it 3 times. And I was kind of pissed because I got beat by Westside. And that was my first time seeing Louis Simmons there. And I was, you know, I'm a competitor, and I like to win. I don't like second place. I was very pissed that I missed all my lifts. And I remember walking back in the warm-up room, and I went up to Louis Simmons. I go, "Louis, is there anything, anything you can do to help me? I know I can do it. I don't know this, that, and the other." And he said, "Call me tomorrow." And tomorrow would have been a Monday. So I came home Monday morning. I called Louis Simmons, talked to him for 3 hours. I wrote everything down he said, from every quote to every damn thing. And I still got the manila envelope that has all the writing on it. I called him Tuesday, talked to him for another 3 hours, took everything he told me, bought bands and chains, and started utilizing what Louis told me. For the next 3 months, I was invited to the Arnold Classic for the first time in 2002. Went out there on stage, and I about shit my pants because I'd never been in front of 7,000 people. And long story short, I did a 739 bench at the Arnold. That was a 6-pound PR. And that was with Louis Simmons training, guidance, and what he had told me. I moved back to Washington State in March of 2002, brought the bands, bought the chains, bought the boards, and created my little team at that time. And the rest is kind of history. Kind of started putting it all together, and found out that I had what's called sleep apnea. Being upwards of 305 pounds, I wasn't sleeping. I didn't realize this until somebody told me, based off the symptoms I had. I had a 70-year-old man tell me, are you this? Are you not sleeping? Are you tired all the time? Do you dream? I'm like, dude, he goes, "You got sleep apnea." So I was like, "Oh, I got to have a machine to sleep now." So I this is kind of a cool story too, because 2007, I went and bought a CPAP machine through my doctor, and I used it for 2 months. And I slept the first 2 weeks. I slept an average of 10 to 14 hours a night. Wow. I shit you not. I couldn't believe it. They pulled this chip out of my machine, and I was just like, I said, "I'm in a better mood. I'm happier." And he goes, "You're never going to believe this." They printed it out. They said, "Look at this. Your sleep. You went to bed at 9 o'clock at night and woke up at 11 the next day." And I said, I was so fucking sleep deprived. I think a month after having the machine, I went and did a contest in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and I bench pressed 975. Up till then, my best bench press was 902, which I had done in January of 2007. So May, I did a 975. I did an exhibition bench at a bodybuilding show in Portland, Oregon in June, and did 985. Judged legit lift. It didn't count. It was exhibition. Then they flew us over to the Ukraine, and I went over there, and I did the biggest bench I've ever done, 10, 12, 10, 14, 10, 36 or whatever. came back, and by the end of that year, I did 1,050. So started the year at 902, got a sleep apnea machine in May. By the end of that year, 1,050. And what a sleep apnea machine had done for me was give me the adequate sleep, REM state sleep, allow me to eat a lot more, because I was finding myself eating twice as much food now. Everything changed. Supplements worked better. I was eating more food. I was getting so big, at 352 pounds, that my handoff part.
Smoke.
Yeah, I put on 50 pounds. And my handoff guy said, I believe a strong man by the name of Johnny Perry had passed away at the time, and he was close to 400. And my handoff guy looked at me and he goes, "You're going to be Johnny." I was going to die is basically what he was telling me. And so what I did is I quit squatting, because I was trying to weigh on one of those doctor scales that have the little weights that move the pound and whatever. And I was standing on that thing with it completely over to the right, and it was still pegged up. It wasn't weighing me at 350. Yeah, that scale wasn't working anymore. So yeah, I was big. I wasn't pretty looking, but weight moves weight. And being a 6'2" man, I have a long bench stroke. The best benchers on the planet, are 5'10", 5'9", and thick barrel chested and shorter arms, or if not shorter. So I had a big disadvantage of being a tall guy. So when I got my stomach, and I hate to, say I call it a boiler, but I had a big abdomen, and I was a big man, but that helped me cut my bench press stroke a lot. So I found all these little advantages from getting the bench press shirt as tight as I can get it, arching my back as high, as hard as I could, and learning the correct technique and training the correct exercises that would help me pursue putting up close to 1,100 pounds, which I almost did. And, woulda, coulda, shoulda, I had a 1075 bench. And I remember at the time I was looking behind me and no one was on my tail. Gene Richlack had basically retired. Mendelson was, he was wearing a denim and he was bouncing around shirts. He wasn't a threat. And there was really nobody there. So I kind of scratched my head and I said, you know what, if I'm going to make money, I think now's the time. But what do I do? Who do I call up and say, hey, I can do 1,100. Will you pay me 10 grand? I didn't know what to do. So I should have just done it looking back on it. But I was kind of waiting for somebody to say, hey, will you come to my meet? And if you hit 1,100, we'll give you 20 grand or something. But my phone never rang. So I really just kind of fiddle farted around with, hitting 1080 and trying 1105. And, and then basically I realized that, I'm not really the healthiest person. I mean, I was eating 15,000 calories a day. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, that 6 bowel movements a day. I am not lying to you. I keep track of things, from training, from how much hours of sleep I get to how much food. And it was nothing to put away, eat every hour and a half. Like I would have a little beeper in my house, and it would beep, and I would get up, and I would do a liquid meal, a solid meal, a liquid meal, a solid meal. I ate out once a day because where I lived, everybody knew me. Everybody gave me the manager or employee discount, whether it be Burger King, Quiznos, or Subway. And I was getting extra meat, and I was just like waddling around this gigantic Bigfoot out here. And, and I was eating 15,000 calories a day. And I was just like, I want to cut down. And I had not done the 1075 bench yet. I was doing all my 1074. I think I hit at 330 body weight. And I was like, I'm going to try, carb depleting 2 weeks out, and then doing the IV trick where you take IV bags and hydrate back up. And right. I did that at a meet here, and I did the infamous 1075 there, weighing 305. And that's a pretty good bench for a 305 guy. And then after that, I kind of trimmed down a little bit more, and then Inzer quit making the greatest bench shirt that he ever made, the real elastic material type shirt that made me a champion. He actually changed the material, and when he did so, it changed the bench shirt for me. It actually bench press shirts give you what is called carryover, as far as I'm concerned. I had a 600 to 650 raw bench any day of the week. So when I put on this shirt, I could do between 1,000 and 1,075. So I'm getting 400 pounds out of this shirt. Well, when he changed the material to this real rigid material, it didn't work as good for me. And I tried, and believe me, I didn't just try it once and quit. I tried for 4 years to make this thing work and try to I said, I need a stretchier shirt, And they're like, we can't get that material anymore. We can't. And so I kind of just, I was done. I was like, people kept asking me from 2000, like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, when are you going to compete? And I kept saying, oh, this fall, next fall, this summer. And I had no intentions of competing because I believe when I did compete in the shirt, I did a 940 at 365 pounds. Had all my, I had everything that I had to bench press 1100 in that old stretchy shirt, but with this new tighter, rigid material, it just didn't give me the carryover. And so I just threw it aside and kind of like, I guess I'm done. And then they said, well, Ryan, go for the raw record. And I'm just like, I don't want to get hurt. I have to commit to that. I can't just train 4 weeks and do the raw 700. I have to put 110% into it. And it was just too late in the game. I didn't care. And then all of a sudden now they came out with these band shirts. And I was like, now this is a great direction. It isn't, I don't think it's too great for powerlifting because, the average basic person who looks at it now, the shirts are kind of like, oh, the shirts do all the work, which they don't. But you're seeing more and more people now able to put up 1,000 pounds, which is kind of cool. But back in my day, there was 5 people on this earth that could do 1,000 pounds. Now we're seeing a lot more people.
Let me mention something. Like I've seen a good number of your lifts, and there's absolutely no question you have the undeniable lockouts in every single rep I've ever seen you do. We know there's some, that's often a questionable component to a lot of geared benches.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever seen you have like a weird soft lockout. Is there like anything?
Can we save, you know what? I think we should save that question for after the break.
Oh, are we coming up on break time?
Yes, we have 30 seconds left. So
we'll take a break now.
So after the break, let's talk more about how you turn things around.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you going to do stop recording now?
I'm just going to stop it right now.